Alright, you guys got questions and I have answers. So this is how I made this clay cane. First I have to mix all the colors, which takes a while and is the main reason that I have larger muscles in my right arm. Once that is finished, I made 2 different Skinner blends, one with the first part of the rainbow, a second with the second part of the rainbow. Don't taste this rainbow though. It won't taste very good, I assume. To get a very smooth gradient, these have to be rolled out very thinly, so Colin usually helps me with the rolling. And then I fold them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until they are a gradient cube. To form the rest of the clay cane, it's a lot of rolling clay in clay and stacking clay on clay and then cutting it up and adding more clay for the black lines and then putting more round rolled up clay for the dots. I do follow a template. I followed the drawing that I did for the light blue butterfly for this one. And once it's all finished, we get to probably the most asked question: how do I make it small? How do I reduce it? And the answer is pretty simple. It just takes a lot of time. I just squish the whole thing evenly until it gets small enough that I can kind of grab it and pull it along with the squishing. And I also slice into it to make sure I'm not messing up the design at all, because it is very easy to warp the design and it is pretty much impossible to fix it. The top wing is more of a triangular shape, so I do use the flat surface I'm working on to push it down and evenly disperse that squishing, and that's really the key. Once the clay cane is reduced, I let it sit overnight so that it's not too warm and it doesn't squish and warp when I slice into it. Once it's ready, I set up the base for the butterfly. This is just to keep the wings from breaking. It just gives it more support. I lay the wings onto the base and just kind of futz with them. Is futz a word? I also make sure to leave room for the middle body, which is just some rolled out black clay for these ones, and I'm using clay bake adhesive to make sure we get a really secure hold when I add the bodies. I use a clay slicer to take them off the surface and then give them a little pinch just to give their wings a slight fold. They are laid out onto folded aluminum foil to keep their folded position, and then I use a cotton swab with rubbing alcohol to remove any fingerprints or hair before baking them. I use Sculpey Souffle, so I'm baking it at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, and then I turn it into whatever I want. It's like magic. I mean, it's a little bit of practice too, but you know.